So Rukmini is the supreme goddess of fortune. So simple. Rukmini, what can she give Krishna? Lakshmi is an expansion of Rukmini. But yet she's just fanning him, little air. And actually the maidservant was fanning her first, because anyone could go like that. We see so many of our little children, they have their little chamaras, and they run up to Prabhupada and go like this, and they run up to the deities and go like this. So any little child. Fanning is a simple thing. You don't need a PhD. You don't need a Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav certificate. I've seen little babies who can't even walk. Mother puts a chamara and they go. So Rukmini took what the maidservant was doing and was fanning with such love that that air was nectar to Krishna. So in this beautiful verse today, she is where Krishna is speaking from the perspective of material evaluation. He's analyzing himself. And he's showing so many disqualifications. And Rukmini Devi is taking it from the absolute, pure spiritual consideration and using the same words to glorify him. Nishkinchanah. Kunti Devi, when she was the mother queen, after the battle of Kurukshetra, Yudhisthira Maharaj was coronated as the emperor of the world, and Bhima Arjuna and Nakula Sahadev, they were all in the highest position of influence and power and wealth, and she's their mother. After so many years of living in trauma and tragedy and loss, even at one time her and her sons were hiding together at Ekachakra after the Kurus, headed by Duryodhana and Shakuni, and they tried to burn Kunti and her children alive. A house of lack. They were hiding. They actually had nothing materially. And now she's the queen mother. They have everything. And she's offering her prayers to Krishna. And she's telling Krishna, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shubhir, you are the property of those who have nothing. Akinchana gocharam. Because people who have a lot of wealth and a lot of beauty and a lot of fame, a lot of strength, high birth, very good education and knowledge, they become proud. They can't take shelter of you. They can't cry out your holy name. Even if they become religious, it's so superficial and external. You are the property of those who deeply understand that they have nothing, that they are absolutely, completely dependent on you. And this is the theme of so many of the stories Shukadev Goswami narrates to Parikshit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Gajendra was the king of the forest. He was such a powerful elephant. Even the lions and the tigers and everyone did their pranams to him. He was so powerful, and he had such beautiful wives by elephant calculation. And he had such nice children. And he was just living the highest life you could imagine as far as he was the king, he was the controller, he had such a family, there was so much affection, everything was there. And he brought his family to a really nice pond of water in a beautiful area. It was actually heavenly. And he went into the water, and it was such nice water. And the water was so cooling and refreshing and clean and sweet. He was throwing it on his family, and they were all so happy. Not only the water was so nice, but it was thrown on them by the love of their father and their husband. And so in this way, it was such a nice, it was like the summit of material enjoyment he was having with them. But the problem with the water is you can't see what's under the water. So similarly, within this world, whoever we are, whatever we have, even in the summit of everything that we always wanted, we're in the midst of enjoying that. We don't know what's under the water. Suddenly, something grabs onto his leg. Really painful. It's a crocodile. And Gajendra is fighting with the crocodile, fighting with all of his might. And he somehow tries to drag the crocodile. He knows if he could get the crocodile out of the water, then he has more strength. But if the crocodile keeps him in the water, he doesn't have anything to eat, but the crocodile's eating. All he needs is water. So the crocodile is fighting, and Gajendra's fighting, and Gajendra looks to his children and his wives and his friends and everybody, and nobody could do anything to help him. They're all just standing on the banks of the pond crying, what is happening to our loved one? And he's thinking, they can't help me. And as the hours and hours and hours go by, he's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and the crocodile's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and he realized, I have no power to protect myself, and there is no one in this world that can help me in my condition. This crocodile represents every type of challenge that we have in our life. Some people are bit by the crocodile of some disease. No matter what they have, the crocodile just doesn't let them go. It's killing them. Sometimes it's just a mental condition where somebody says something or somebody does something or something happens, and it's just like a crocodile biting us in our subtle body, and we just can't get rid of that crocodile, and it's just dragging us down. Yes? How many of you have crocodiles in your life? Yes, you may be flying in an airplane and it goes down to crash. It's like a crocodile. What could you do? You may be driving in a car and there's a traffic jam in Mumbai, and it's your daughter's marriage, and the muhurta is at this time, and it has to be at this time, otherwise everything becomes inauspicious and you're caught in a traffic jam. And you tell the driver, just fly over all the cars. And the driver says, I don't know how to do that, you know. So what can you do? You're helpless. You're in a crocodile of a situation. It's beyond your control. There are so many things like this. Adhyatmaka, adhidaivaka, adhibautika. Miseries caused by our own mind and body, miseries caused by other beings, especially humans. Or mosquitoes. Or other beings, or miseries caused by natural disturbances. It's all like crocodiles. And so many times, some things we can actually resolve by our own intelligence or our own influence or our own powers, but other things are beyond. So the crocodile was dragging Gajendra down, and at a certain point he realized, there's nothing myself or anyone can do to save me. And it was then that he remembered his previous life of being a great devotee and the prayers he learned. As long as he was absorbed in material ways of life, and he was quite successful doing it, those spiritual assets he had just remained so much in the background. But now it was all he had left. He was Nishkinchanah. He realized, I have nothing. Actually, he was still the king. He still had his wives and his children all around him. He still had everything he used to have. But by the grace of the crocodile, he realized that actually none of it's really mine. And it all could be taken away from me in a moment. So he was Nishkinchanah. And in that state, he plucked a single lotus flower. And in that pond, there were so many lotus flowers. And he offered it to Lord Narayan and offered beautiful prayers. And in his prayers, Krishna, I'm yours. I give my heart, my body, my mind, my words, my life, everything I offer to you. Take shelter of you. If you want to kill me, if you want to protect me, doesn't matter anymore. I'm yours. Sharanagati. That was his surrender. But you cannot actually surrender unless you're Nishkinchanah. Unless you realize that everything ultimately belongs to the Lord. I'm yours. And Lord Vishnu came down on Garuda. And within a moment, he cut off the crocodile's mouth. Yes? Now, crocodile without a mouth doesn't have much influence on anyone. Because that's where their strength is. It's in their teeth and their mouth, and all of a sudden his mouth gets cut off. And then Lord Vishnu restores the crocodile to a demigod, and then he tells Gajendra, you come with me back to Godhead. And he took Gajendra back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Ultimate liberation at that moment because of this surrender. Krishna, I'm yours. So from the perspective of the bhakti philosophy, Vaishnavism, the surrender is Krishna, I'm yours. And then Krishna reciprocates and gives us the understanding that Krishna, you're mine. This is revealed in the story of Ambarish Maharaj. He was also a great king. He had palaces, he had armies, he had family, he had wealth. He performed this fast in Madhuban for 1 year. He did the Ekadasi and Dwadasi fast for 1 full year. And the culmination is 3 days of no food and no water. But he was doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. He was doing it for the welfare of all of his citizens, every living being within his kingdom. He was doing it for their welfare. By setting such an example and by offering the whatever benefits were coming, spiritual blessings, he was offering it to everyone. And after he completed a year of fasting and 3 days of no food or water, before breaking the fast, he gave millions of cows to the Brahmins. And every cow that he gave, tens and millions, every cow he gave had a full milk bag, had at least one or more baby calves along with the cow. And every cow had gold, not like India, Bollywood type of gold, but pure gold, plated horns, and pure silver plated hooves. Can you imagine? Such wealth he had. Who can give a gift like that today? Yes? Even at the marriage of your daughter, you cannot give a gift like that. Whoever you are. Tens and millions of cows with full bags and calves, what to speak of just giving them, just transporting them. And he gave them all away with gold. One cow, the amount of gold and silver on one cow is more than what most people's entire bank balance is. And he's giving them all away. And that was just the beginning of his gifts. Then he was giving more and more and more and more. Then he was feeding everyone, big nice feasts. Then he was about to eat himself, to break his fast. And just at that moment, Durvasa Muni appeared on the scene. Durvasa Muni, by all material calculation, really is Nishkinchanah. You never hear about Durvasa Muni sleeping in a nice bed in some house. He slept in caves. He slept in forests, on riverbanks, under trees. He had no possessions. He just wore the simplest clothes of a mystic yogi. Never combed his hair. He had matted hairs. He's really, among yogis, he's really a renowned sage. Just traveling around, meditating. So he appears, and Ambarish jumps up to receive him and offers him such nice sitting place and washes his feet and offers him prayers and says, "Please eat. I have such a nice feast for you." And Durvasa Muni said, "Yes, I will eat, but first I must take my bath in Yamuna," because he was a very strict Brahmin. So he had to perform his ritual before he could eat. So he went to Yamuna, and then when he went into Yamuna, he started meditating and he entered into a state where he was meditating on Brahman. It appeared he was in samadhi. So what is Ambarish going to do? He's told by the Brahmins, you have to immediately break your fast. Now in Kali Yuga, we're supposed to try to be as strict as possible. But if somehow or other there's a technical problem, somehow or other we'll get through it. But this is in a previous yuga. If Ambarish doesn't break his fast during the scheduled pradharna, then what happens? Then the whole year of fasting, all the benefits are negated. Not only that, but it's an aparad. Instead of benefits to yourself and pleasing Krishna and benefits to everyone else, it becomes like a curse. So this is a serious thing. He has to break his fast on this moment. But at the same time, it's an offense if he doesn't break his fast, and it's an offense if he eats before his guest, Durvasa Muni. So the Srimad Bhagavatam describes it was a very dangerous situation. He was really in the situations that we all get into sometimes. Why is this happening? Whatever you do, it seems it's going to be a problem. So he asks the Brahmins. This is the way that you usually get out of such things. You put the responsibility on others. He's the king. He's supposed to follow the spiritual advice of the Brahmins. So he tells Brahmins, what do I do? And Brahmins are Brahmins. They didn't have that much time to discuss. But when they were discussing, so many had different opinions. And they couldn't come to a conclusion. So now Ambarisha's, the Brahmins have so many different opinions, they can't come to a conclusion. I don't know how much they were arguing with each other, but you should do this. No, you should do this. No, you should do this. But according to this Shastra, you should do this. According to that Shastra, you should do this. According to my Shastra, you do this. And they're all Brahmins. They're all bona fide Brahmins. So Ambarish had to make up his own decision because the Brahmins weren't helping him. And at the same time, it's not that you go up to Durvasa Muni and say, Durvasa Muni, come out of your samadhi immediately because you have to eat now. It's not like you can do that. So Durvasa Muni is like in the water. And he could have been there for many days. They don't know. So it's really a difficult situation. So Ambarish has to pray to Krishna, please help me. The Brahmins, they're not giving me anything concrete to do. So then he comes to his own conclusion. And what was that? That if you drink water, it's considered a fast. But if you drink water, it's also considered breaking a fast. Drinking water is considered not eating. Drinking water is considered eating. And in this regard, in the purport to this verses, Srila Prabhupada quotes that some political leaders of India were doing fasting. What is the word? All these different Brahmins are giving different words. Radhe Shyam Prabhu, a great Brahmin, is giving one word. Krishnananda Prabhu, a great Brahmin, is giving another word. They're all citing scriptures with different words. So that's the way it is. It's still like this. So Prabhupada said that they would only drink water, and this was considering fasting. So Ambarish came with his conclusion and presented it to all the Brahmins. That if I drink a little water, I'm breaking the fast, but if I drink a little water, I'm not breaking the fast. So should I drink a little water? And they said, yes, very good. Drink water. So he just drank a tiny bit of water. Durvasa Muni was such a sage that he's in the Yamuna. so much water. And in those days, it was even the most materialistic person wanted to drink water from the Yamuna because it was very clean, very pure at Madhuban. And he's immediately, he recognizes through his mystical sensitivity, Ambarish drank water. He was so angry. His eyes were red like coals. His body was trembling with anger. And he insulted Ambarish the worst ways. For a Vaishnav, what he was saying to Ambarish was just opposite everything he was trying to be. He said to Ambarish, "You are a cruel." A Vaishnav wants to be compassionate. He's saying, "You're cruel." He's saying, "You are a hypocrite. Your so-called devotion to Vishnu is simply bogus. You have no true devotion. You're just cheating everyone with your hypocrisy. And therefore, I must destroy you." Now, he was so angry, he pulled a bunch of hair from his head. You have to really be angry to do that. Sometimes our brahmacharis, because they have shaved heads, they can't do that. But he was so angry. He pulled his hair out as it said a mantra, threw the hair on the floor. Instantly, this personality whose body was made out of blazing fire, who had eyes and a mouth and was holding a trident and was gigantic. He looked like devastation himself. Now Durvasa Muni was born in Chitrakoot at Satya Anasuya as the son of Atri Muni and Anasuya. Soma was the avatar of Brahma. Dattatreya was the avatar of Vishnu, and the avatar of Shiva was Durvasa. So he's the real thing. He really, if he wants to destroy, he's the destroyer. And with all of his potency, he created this monster of fire to destroy Ambarish. And this fiery monster roared. Can you imagine the sound of that roar? Fire roaring. And he's only inches away from Ambarish. And he jumps toward Ambarish to devour him. And Ambarish did not move a single foot. He didn't move. He didn't try to run away. Didn't call his armies to protect him. He just stood with folded palms, completely fearless. Ajahure mana Srinandanandana Abhay Charanara Vindare. We pray to our mind, please worship Krishna. Because when you really absorb your mind, yourself, my mind, in worshiping Krishna, you become fearless. Because you've taken shelter of him. Srinandanandana. So Ambarish was in that mood. It wasn't just a theoretical practice. Here, death personified was inches away from devouring him. His family's there, his friends, his ministers, everything. He's about to lose everything. And Ambarish is fearless because Krishna, I'm yours. Because he gave his heart fully to Krishna, Krishna gave his heart fully to him. And Krishna, Achintya Shakti, he has a Sudarshan chakra. Now, with this fiery demon right upon Ambarish, he only had not even seconds, moments to live. Narayan is in Vaikuntha. It's a long way. So to send Sudarshan Chakra, he only had a moment. But for Vishnu, everything is possible. If Krishna wants to protect his devotee, doesn't matter what the situation is. Within that one moment, the Sudarshan Chakra, where did it come from? Vaikuntha? Where just came right down and destroyed, liberated that personality created by Durvasa. Just immediately, the fire was extinguished, the person was gone. And then the Sudarshan Chakra redirected himself to Durvasa Muni. Now, who is Nishkinchanah? Ambarish is living in a beautiful palace. He has wives. And he has children. That means he's having sex. Yes? He's having children. He's having so many duties. He's wearing nice clothes when he's in his palace. And Durvasa Muni is just wearing some tree bark or whatever, and he doesn't have any. He's completely celibate, sadhu. Who's Nishkinchanah? When the fiery personification of devastation was about to devour Ambarish, he was fearless. He didn't move, just chanted God's name and gave his heart to Krishna with a prayer. When Sudarshan Chakra came toward Durvasa Muni, as fast as he could, he ran away. Desperately fearful, really fearful. He was running. And Krishna's so expert. Whether he was running slow or fast, whether he was going 2 kilometers an hour or 10 million kilometers an hour, Sudarshan was always the same distance, inches behind him. He went to Brahma, because when he couldn't get away by running, he started flying. And how could he fly? He didn't need an aircraft. How long would it take for any airplane to go to Brahmaloka? By the speed of our airplanes, it would take hundreds of millions of years for any of our airplanes to reach Brahmaloka. And still they can't reach it. But Durvasa Muni went to Brahmaloka just by chanting mantras, such a powerful yogi. He falls at the feet of Brahma, save me, save me. Brahma said, myself and Lord Shiva and all the demigods, we are all under the control of Vishnu. This is Vishnu's weapon. There's nothing we can do for you. Then he went to Kailash, the planet of Lord Shiva, and fell at Shiva's feet. Shankar Bhagavan, please save me. And Shiva said, he said same thing. We are all under the control of Lord Narayan. We are all the servants of Narayan. Whatever powers we have is given to us by Narayan. Only he can save you. Durvasa was really determined to save his life. He flew all the way to Vaikuntha. That's determination. And fell at the feet of Lord Vishnu and said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have made an offense to your devotee. I beg forgiveness. Please save me. I take shelter of you. Lord Narayan said that I am completely under the control of my devotee. Even though I am supremely independent, I have given up my independence to be controlled by the love of my devotee. The devotee is so absorbed in loving service to me that the devotee always keeps me through his remembrance or her remembrance in the very, very core of his heart. And therefore the devotee is always in the core of my heart. The devotee has given up everything for me, and I give up everything for my devotee. And this is very personal. This is a very unique, individual, personal relationship that Krishna has with every pure devotee. Durvasa Muni, you are asking me to be... You are asking me to help you. But I've given up my own free will. I'm living in the heart of Ambarish Maharaj. So therefore, immediately at this moment, you should go to Ambarish. So Durvasa Muni understood what is Nishkinchanah. And what was Ambarish's role? He was still standing there for 1 year, just waiting. He didn't eat. He was still waiting for his guest. And when Durvasa Muni came back to Madhuban, where Ambarish was still waiting, Sudarshan was still the exact distance behind him. He was always feeling the heat. And Ambarish prayed. He prayed, Sudarshan Chakra, he glorified, you are the divine servant of Lord Narayan. He said, if ever I have done any dharma, any bhakti, anything I've ever done in the service of the Lord or for the good of others, let all those credits go toward saving Durvasa Muni. Please bless him. And Sudarshan, and the power of the prayers of Ambarish, Sudarshan left Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni started glorifying Ambarish. You are a true devotee. You are truly renounced, detached. You are Nishkinchanah, not me. And Ambarish, no, just eat some prasad. And he fed him prasad. So Rukmini Devi is the goddess of devotion. She's the source. She's an expansion of Sri Radha, of Vrindavan. She's the source of all prem, all love. So she is speaking these beautiful words. That Krishna, you are truly Nishkinchanah. You don't have anything. Why? Because you have everything. Because everything was within you, and everything is of you. You are the source of everything that exists. The 6 opulences: beauty, knowledge, strength, fame, wealth, and detachment, renunciation. These opulences are what makes a person attractive in this world, even in other species. Other species see beauty in each other. They see strength in each other. They see territorial property that they control. What to speak of humans? If someone's very beautiful, very strong, athletic, how much are athletes attractive to people? It's all relative. In India, your cricket stars are really attractive. But in the West, nobody could care anything for a cricket star. They don't even know what cricket is. It's an insect. But in India, a cricket star is very attractive because of the strength and their speed. That strength. People who are extremely wealthy, extremely charitable are very well attractive. People who have very extraordinary physical beauty. People who are great knowledge, wealth of information. Like encyclopedias, they can cite anything, anytime, and they can solve problems, and they know so much. People are attracted to fame. So these opulences make a person attractive. And therefore people are so passionate to somehow or other acquire these opulences. Or be attracted to these opulences. But Krishna's Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who is the source of all these opulences. He's not just the proprietor of the opulences. He's the source of all the opulences. He's the complete whole of all the opulences. Incredible. Because whatever beauty or knowledge or strength or wealth or fame or renunciation anyone has, it's actually just a little spark of what belongs to Krishna. Krishna tells in Gita, all the incredible things in this world are just a spark of my splendor. So Krishna's Nishkinchanah, because he is the source of everything and nothing is ever outside of him. Therefore, from a material perspective, he's not just a proprietor of something like we could be. Our conception of proprietorship of anything is limited and temporary. But Krishna, everything is forever within him. So in this sense, it's a completely different conception. It's nirguna. It has nothing to do with our sense of proprietorship. It has nothing to do with our sense of renunciation. So Rukmini is taking Krishna's words to give the ultimate glorification of him. And to give all of us an entrance into this understanding. And ultimately, Rukmini conquers Krishna with her love, with her appreciation. Thank you very much. Is there any question? Yes, Krishnanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful class. Just a small comment and small question, Maharaj. Like, it's very difficult to find combination of Nishkinchanah and humility. Like the Ratha Muni was renounced but not humble. But here we have one great Vaishnava who is having both qualities, and that is the author of the book Journey Home yourself. And I'm so grateful to you. A small question.
Seem to be like you are in the mood of Durvasa Muni.
The question is about Gajendra. When Gajendra was in danger, he actually sought help of the Lord. Whereas when Ambrish was in danger, or the chakra was so close to him, he did not ask for any help. So, like, what is the right course for a devotee who is in material danger, which is perfect?
As far as my understanding of the story of Gajendra, he didn't ask for help. He surrendered himself. Maro birako bijo icha tohar nityada sapratitua adhikar. My Lord, if you want to kill me, if you want to protect me, you have every right to deal with me in any way you please. I am yours. When Gajendra picked up that lotus and offered it in the sky with his prayers, he was offering his life. I'm yours, Krishna. That's Sharanagati. So that's a state of consciousness. Of course, if we're in danger and we sincerely absorb ourselves in a helpless mood of asking Krishna to protect us, then that's a very deep state of bhakti, because we're turning to Krishna completely. But the highest state of bhakti is just to offer ourselves to Krishna, as Ambarish and Gajendra. Hari Hari. Yes, Radhesham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for a very beautiful explanation of Rukmini's devotion to Krishna, and also Gajendra and Ambarish. Very beautiful, enlivening. When we hear such wonderful presentations of spiritual personalities, it deeply touches our hearts, Maharaj. And I have read in the scriptures that what is actually the stumbling block for the living entity in attaining the akinchanatvam is the ahankar and mamakar, the I and the mine, which actually is the foundation of material existence, which gives the proprietorship mentality in the living being. So my question to you, Maharaj, was what things remove this ahankar and mamakar so that one can be an akinchana even in the path of religious life and pious life and spiritual life? Because the ahankar mamakar is not only the disease of materialistic living entities, but it is a disease for even those on the religious path. So how these big stumbling blocks can be removed for one to become a true akinchana?
Ahankar is a disease. It is the root disease that is the cause of all suffering within creation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave us the perfect medicine for this disease. He nechi asadi mara nashi borolagi hari nam mahamantra lao thumi magi. I have come to give you the supreme best medicine. Harinam Mahamantra. Please take this medicine. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us how to take the disease so that it will actually have its true effect. Trinadapi sunichena taror iba sehishnana. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Humble, more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, to offer all respect to others, to expect none for oneself. When we strive to live by these principles, and we truly take shelter of the holy names, then it will quickly purify us of the influence of ahankar. It actually brings us to our original natural healthy state of understanding that we are all eternally loving servants of Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his own prayer and his own example, taught us a very simple way of living this verse practically. Gopi Bharatur Padakamalayora Das Dasanudas, by sincerely striving to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Samsiddhyar Haritoshanam. And in this spirit, whatever we do, its motivation is to please Lord Hari. Is there any other question? Parijata Mata, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, in the opening you mentioned that Maya presents limitless justifications in the way we exercise our free will. And a lot of times we may not exercise it to choose Krishna. And this is a challenge every moment, because every moment we are choosing our free will, what we want to do and how we surrender to Krishna. So how we can make sure that we are practically making the right decision.
Sincerity is important. Sincerity means with a genuine desire to make spiritual progress, to become purified, to please Krishna, Guru, Vaishnav. That's actually our motivation. Not that we have an ulterior motive. Srila Prabhupada said we should be serious, we should be sincere, and we should not have ulterior motives. And Krishna will come to help us. So when we are sincere to actually please Krishna, then we accept the help that Krishna has given us through Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara. We've been given the holy name of Krishna as a means to purify us and give us that connection. So we should chant very sincerely, very attentively, very faithfully. We've been given this knowledge which helps us to act, which empowers us with Krishna's grace to discriminate between what is proper and what is improper. We have Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ishopanishad, many nectar of devotion, so many scriptures. So when we come to these classes with an earnest and sincere desire to have this wisdom, to have this spiritual strength with us. And Krishna empowers us through His name. Krishna empowers us through the reading these books, through coming to these Harikathas. And what the knowledge we get from these books is we shouldn't live selfishly, we shouldn't live arrogantly. Real detachment, real renunciation is very simple. Ambarish Maharaj was really detached, more than Durvasa Muni. It means to have a simple heart, to have a simple, well-wishing heart, to serve others, and ultimately to help others in their spiritual path toward Krishna. If that's our motivation, Krishna will be with us and will help us to give the right decisions. And if we have serious doubt, we can ask some senior devotees. But we may get the same situation as Ambarish, so many different opinions. But the difference of opinions really are only on an application perspective. But the principle, you will get the same opinion from all sincere devotees. So take guidance from the name of Krishna. Take guidance through your prayers. Take guidance from the scriptures. Take guidance from the sadhus and the Vaishnavas. And be sincere. In this way, Krishna will always be with you. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Her name is Parijata Devi. Rukmini had a Parijata flower. Satyabhama also wanted a Parijata flower. Can you imagine? They must be very beautiful, fragrant flowers. And they don't just wilt and go away after a day or two. So Krishna went to Indraloka, and Satyabhama saw a Parijata tree and said, actually, I want the whole tree. Krishna asked Indra, please give me the tree. Why did they go to Indraloka? Because Bhaumasura, he stole the earrings from Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and he had 16,100 princesses that he had captured in his palace, and the fathers of the princesses, he was having sacrifices, cutting off their heads in human sacrifices. He was really a very difficult person. And Krishna freed all the queens, and then all the queens said that we've given our hearts to you, we could never marry anyone else. So Krishna said, all right, then I will marry you. And he married all of them to give them shelter, freed their husbands, not their husbands, their fathers and their relatives. And then he, with Satyabhama, went all the way to the heavens to bring the earrings and back to the mother of the demigods, Aditi. So he did all that for the demigods. And then he just asked for a little tree. And Indra declared war against him. He was so attached to this tree. And Krishna sobered up Indra, and Indra realized, why did I do that? Please take the tree. So Satyabhama had the whole tree in her palace garden. Now, materially, Rukmini could have said, I only have one flower, she has a whole tree. Rukmini was happy with one flower. Satyabhama was happy with one tree. Rukmini was happy with one flower. And Krishna was happy with both of them. Because Satyabhama only wanted the tree for Krishna's pleasure. And Rukmini only wanted the flower for Krishna's pleasure. So although they had very different apparent personalities, they had the same purpose: to love Krishna. So thank you for reminding us of this story. Not through your question, but through your very wonderful existence and presence. And actually every devotee, we should see each other in this spirit. And every devotee has their own special, unique way of helping to remind us of Krishna. And we should learn to appreciate each other in this way. To be appreciated, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. If you're attached to it, you'll suffer. But to appreciate, you could always do it. So if you get your happiness by appreciating, sometimes you'll be a little happy, but it'll never be enough, and sometimes you'll suffer. But if you get your happy in appreciating others, then you can always be transcendentally happy. And this is the spirit we chant the holy names.